My guest at this time is the interview queen and can be seen every week as part of MLW. It is Alicia Atout. Alicia, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Hi, thank you so much for having me back. It's a
Nope.
pleasure. And I saw you in person not too long ago, so it's nice to be virtually chatting it up again.
Yeah. It's only been like 72 hours since we saw each other, Alicia. And, we can talk about Warrior here in a little bit, but I want to focus on MLW here to get things going. Obviously, MLW's got the restart on the way here. What do you think fans can expect from this restart of MLW?
Yeah, I'm so excited for the restart because it's literally been 8 months since we had shows. Our last shows were the Triple Lab in Tijuana, Mexico, which is so insane to think about. So the fact that we're going to be back stronger than ever, I can't wait for it. And just speaking to those strengths, I just keep hearing all these rumblings from my boss, Court. I see tweets here and there. It's kept very cryptic back here, but I know that we're going to have brand new stars, brand new people added to our division, which I am so excited about because that means more people we can work with, more promos I can host, along with some great matchups that we're going to be able to have. And the other thing that's really neat for the restart is the fact that we are now not only airing on Saturdays on BN Sports, but actually there's a new time slot, 7 p.m. on Fubo every Wednesday night. So we are like in a really prime, fantastic spot. That's one of the biggest nights in wrestling, and we're a part of it. So a lot's happening in the world of MLW.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about that Wednesday night slot. I mean, MLW kind of tiptoeing here into the Wednesday night war a little bit. I mean, do you think that's the intent? What do you make of MLW moving in with the big dogs here?
I think it was such a clever decision. And I remember when we first announced it, a bunch of fans were like, oh my gosh, Wednesdays, that's crazy. And they kind of thought we were in the same slots as the other shows going on. And then when I found out that our slot was 7 p.m., I'm like, ooh, we're literally kicking the night off. Like, that is absolutely genius. So I think it's a great way to start your Wednesday, whether you want to just start with us and, finish your wrestling night or continue watching whatever other things happen to be on or programs. I just think it's a really fantastic slot, and it's nice to say now we are a part of everyone's Wednesdays, that crazy wrestling Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesdays are pretty wild right now. A lot of people comparing it to kind of what we saw back in the Attitude Era. As a longtime wrestling fan, Alicia, what's it like for you to be inside this right now? A part of this like really historical period in pro wrestling at the moment.
It's really interesting because everyone compares it to the wars, and like I always see statistics going out, this versus that. I just think it's going to be really cool to see how we are and to see everyone that picks it up, that we're now available on DAZN, BN, Fubo. Like, I believe Court wrote it was over like 100 million screens you can access MLW on. So that's definitely no small statistic. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. The more people that can see our brand and company, the better, of course. We always want to go. And the fact that this restart is horizon, we're just away from tapings at a very special undisclosed location. But the fact we're just a month away, I couldn't be more excited and more thrilled. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and with you, as we come back here with the restart and everything, I mean, is you talked about how there's gonna be more talent, more people for you to talk to, that kind of thing. Is your role gonna change at all here when we see the restart, or are you gonna stay in a kind of a similar slot that we saw you before everything shut down?
There have been some talks, between the bosses and I. And there was at one point earlier this year, I was on Busted Open, and they asked me if there was anything else I'd like to do. And I mentioned being a manager would be super fun, or valet. I know I'm good on the mic. I know I could have fun with it. But then they approached me with a couple of more interesting things and maybe a couple turns here and there. So just stay tuned, because if you happen to be an Interview Queen fan and an MLW fan, they have a lot in store for me. And not only is it great just being very blunt with you, TV time is amazing, but the fact that they have instilled that kind of trust in me and giving me some bigger roles, it's going to be amazing. I'm excited. I'm up for the challenge. It's gonna
Now
be
wait,
great.
you said that there could be some turns in the road here, Alicia. We're not. Are we gonna see like a heel Alicia Atout? Is that like a role that you would be interested in taking on, as being like a bad guy in pro wrestling?
It's definitely something I would love to do. Everyone kind of knows me as the bubbly personality that I am, which truly is like when you see me on TV, it's like a heightened me. You've met me at shows, tons of fans have, like it's me. But it's definitely something I would love to do, because I could just channel my inner badass bitch once in a while, and I think that'd be great. So we will just have to see. We will just have to see what's in store.
Yeah, and I've never ever thought of you as like a bad guy, but now that I'm thinking about it, like I kind of want to watch you just like tear into some people at the moment. I know you and
Right?
Scarlett, you and Scarlett had like a unique relationship, I believe, back and forth. I could see it. I could see you as a bad person.
It's really fun because as of recent, I mean, we've been doing everything on Pulp Fusion, and I've had so much back and forth with the guys in the Dynasty, being Richard Holiday and Alex Hammerstone. And, like, they just love to get my words and just chew them out, and like they're just really not the nicest of people. So I've been really giving it back to them every Thursday when that airs on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have been able to tell, like, I'm not always just bubbles and rainbows. If you're gonna cross me, I'm gonna cross you back. So
The Dynasty is interesting right now because like I had Hammerstone on a little bit ago, and he said he doesn't think Gino Medina is going to be like maybe a regular part of the group. Do you think the Dynasty?
right.
Yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, react to that, and also, do you think that the Dynasty needs a third member or not?
It's interesting because the dynamic between the two right now is enough. Like, I'm done with one of them being in the room, so I'd rather there be like no Dynasty, honestly. But if they're gonna add a third, I do feel like Gino's a good fit. The only issue with Gino right now is he's been a little MIA. He's been a little, even when it comes to his appearances, he's not really caring. He just kind of shows up on screen, says his thing, talks about all the females he likes, and then that's that. So I don't know about his commitment to the two. That's kind of where I'm at with Gino. But yeah, I really don't like the Dynasty. I really don't.
Well, I will ask you too here. Obviously, in the big story here in pro wrestling the past couple of weeks, months, really is we've seen kind of a rash of more wrestlers getting sick, right, with COVID-19 and
Right.
everything. As MLW is getting ready for the restart, you talk about this undisclosed location. Do you know anything about kind of the precautions MLW is going to be taking that the fans should know about as they prepare to watch
Yes.
those? Yeah.
We're actually going to have a safety compliance officer on site. So they are testing us at home before we get on the plane to our location. Then they're actually testing us with the officer on site in our hotel rooms before we see any other wrestlers from the company. And then they are going to test us also midway through our tapings. We're going to be at this location for 3 to 4 days. So and we get fever checks every day as well, along with those quick turnaround COVID-19 tests. So they're really taking like every precaution you literally can, because a lot of companies are just checking your fevers, but you can have these conditions and them not be known or prevalent. So the fact that we're actually going to have those results within like an hour or two day of our tapings, I'm going to feel safe because I live with people that I care about deeply, and I don't want to bring something back. So I'm really happy that they are taking those measures and putting in effort just to show us talent, like they actually put us too, is really nice. So yeah, I feel like very calm and relaxed going into these tapings because I know I'll be safe.
It kind of sounds like a little bit of a pro wrestling bubble with the hotels and the regular checking and things like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm really happy that they're taking that precaution for us, definitely.
So are you in Canada now, or are you back in the States? What's your deal at the moment?
Yeah, so I just came back to Canada yesterday. I had the Warrior show on the 19th, then I stayed in the States for a week, and then I had the Warrior show like 2 days ago on the 26th, I think. So it's all a blur. But I just came back. I had an amazing week over there, and now I actually have to quarantine for 14 days because Canada has a law where if you travel back from America, it's like if you leave, you can get fined. I think it's like $7,500. So yeah. And you know what? At first, man, that sucks. But then it kind of hit me like, that's why our cases aren't so bad up here, like because they're actually taking care and they actually want us to be safe. So I have people around me who are able to kind of help me get my merch orders out so I don't have to leave the house. And so yeah, I'll just be stuck up here editing and doing my thing, making sure everyone's safe and that I'm safe, because that's one of the biggest things too.
Yeah, and because again, ignorant Americans down here, I've heard a lot about how tight the border is right now. We've heard about different wrestlers not being allowed to even cross and come here to perform. How hard is it for you right now to even leave Canada to come to the United States and to get back in?
Yeah, it's interesting because if you're going over there to see friends or shop, or it's like a leisurely thing, you're actually allowed to go from Canada into the States. But the thing is, you're not allowed as an American to come into Canada yet. So our side of the border is still closed, whereas the American side is open to us. So again, that's Canada taking that extra safety risk or not risk, precaution, whereas America's taking that extra safety risk, but whatever.
Yeah, it's a free for all here. We're pretty much, halfway to Mad Max, really. So anyway,
It was insane. No, just quick note, like being down there for a week and spending it with the people I spent it with and stuff, like it was nuts how we would just go somewhere and people just didn't care. Like in here, you're not allowed into anywhere without a mask, but like people would just walk into places, like not giving a crap. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in like a bizarro world. It was insane. So yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like you had to fly on planes to come into Chicago and everything like that. How was your travel? Were you nervous at all? Any of that? Any time of the way?
I was super nervous just because I know I'm taking every kind of every little thing to make myself okay, but I don't trust anyone around me. So even when we're at like Fan Fest and stuff, like everyone had masks on at Warrior. They made sure that was implemented, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But it's literally like the whole time in my head, I'm just like, okay, sanitize, because literally anyone can have it and not know. Sometimes it's just like innocent and they don't know that because they don't cough or they don't lose taste or smell,
Yeah.
So really scary. I went through 3 bottles of hand sanitizer like this big while I was there for a week because every time I'd be at Target and touch a shirt and I'd sanitize after because I was just like, no, you are not getting sick. You are not getting sick.
Yeah, and like Warrior's really, really safe and everything. Like I'm
really safe.
Continue to be very impressed, with how everything is carried out, and for you being at Warrior, I know you don't like to talk a lot about your relationship life, but do you want to talk about like what a moment it was for the end of Warrior Wrestling for you and what happened?
Yeah, it was amazing. Over the last few months, we've been keeping things on the DL just because people can be absolutely insane. But we've kind of been bringing things to surface over the last month or so. So yeah, at the end, there was this incredible triple threat main event with Brian Pillman Jr., who was the champion, facing Brian Cage and my boyfriend, Trey Miguel. And I was backstage under the bleachers with Trey before he went out because it was really cold. So I was like just trying to warm him up before like warming his back. And he goes, okay, all I got to do is go out there, let Pillman hit his finisher, 1, 2, 3, and then like we're done for the night. We can go and chill and it'll be great. And I was like, okay, awesome. I can't wait to watch it.
Wow.
So I'm on the bleachers. And I was still like right there. I'm like, okay, 100%, he's not getting the championship, whatever. So I'm on the bleachers watching it with like his fellow trainers from back home in Toledo and all the kids that he trains. There was like 6 of them. And we're all watching. And then we see the finish and we hear the count. And we just look at each other and I was confused. Like, I was like, oh shit, did they mess it up? Like, what happened? And then we heard his music. And then I just see Zach dart it to the ring, and then we all run out. And I was like, "Oh my god, he won the freaking championship!" Like it was an amazing moment. And because I don't live in the States, I don't get to see every show that he wrestles on or travel with him all the time. So the fact that I was there for that one, it's a company we love. Warrior always treat us so well, especially knowing we're a couple. Like they're great with taking care of us, and it just meant so much to see him win a championship with all of his students there. I was a mess. I bawled my eyes out, and like I'm waiting for photographers to send me pictures because there's like ones of us on the field just like super happy, and yeah, it was just like a really emotional moment. I'm really proud of him. He's amazing.
I can't believe he worked you, Alicia. He worked you good.
I know. I believed every second of it too. He's like, I'm sorry. Usually like I wouldn't do something like that. But he's like, I wanted you to be surprised. And man, I really was.
Wow, that is so cool. Yeah. And like me and Rich were at commentary. We didn't know. Like, I think a lot of us kind of thought because Pillman had just won the title like 3 shows ago that it was going to
right.
No, not at all. That was an awesome moment. Very happy. How's he doing now? Has he got like a burst of pride at the moment? Is he extra driven now that he's got some singles gold around his waist?
It was amazing. Like the day after he won, we drove back to Toledo, and we drove back the night of the show, but the day after he had training. So we brought the championship back to the school, and, he got to show it to CK, who's the trainer at Skull and Bones Academy. So like just seeing him with the guy who's trained him for like a decade, with them holding a championship together. And it was, again, like just being there for those moments, like so, because he works so incredibly hard. Like he really does. Wrestling is not easy. I don't do it, but I see what he goes through and the aches and pains when we get home and stuff. So like any championship matters, but like the fact it was at Warrior in a place that like we'd always meet up and stuff, it was a lot. It was really good.
Yeah, no, fight.tv if you want to go check it out. I guess like This is an MLW interview, but we kind of pivoted here a bit if you want to go support Warrior Wrestling as well. So totally. I'll bring it back home here. So with MLW's The Restart, talk to me, I saw you talk to Shaul Guerrero recently.
Yes.
She is, obviously somebody that's got a lot of buzz, but, MLW hasn't really had a women's division in recent memory. Do you know if there's any talk of them including more women as part of the MLW restart here?
Yeah, that's actually something I don't know a ton about. I know that when I was signed back in December, that's when they were signing a couple other females, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. And then things just started getting kind of crazy once COVID hit, and I think we were just kind of focusing on how are we going to come back from all of this, and now we are with the restart. So I don't know much about a women's division. However, I do know that once we do get one, it is going to be real ballsy because honestly, just some of the names that I heard months and months ago before COVID, it was exciting. So I'm hoping that we circle back to it soon. We could be, and I just don't know because they love keeping secrets from us and being like a week before they announce it, like, yo, we got something amazing. So my fingers are crossed that's coming along. It'd be really cool to have more females in the locker room because the brothers I have there are amazing. So may as well get some sisters. And
Sure.
yeah, we'll just see how else we continue to grow.
What about you? I saw you tweet out too that you had a dream here. You're thinking about wrestling. Is it?
I wasn't thinking about it. I just had a dream about it.
That means your subconscious wants you to be wrestling, Alicia.
I don't know. I think because I saw so much training happen with my week in Toledo, and then seeing also the 2 Warrior shows after so long. So those are my first shows in 7 months. So I haven't been to a wrestling show since then. I think just seeing that and how happy everyone was, I just must have fallen asleep thinking about wrestling. And the next thing you know, I'm in gear kicking butt. So yeah, not a plan of mine in real life, not something I want to do when I'm like actually conscious, but apparently subconsciously somewhere in there.
I've never had a dream where I like wrestled, but I do have
Really?
No, I've never had a dream where I wrestled. I guess it's maybe because I had a wrestling match one time and it was like I got a concussion right out of the gate and I was like, I'm not meant.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a training for the match. Then we still did them anyway. Whatever, longer story. But I have a lot of dreams where I'm like drinking with famous wrestlers, like very casually. Okay. Yeah, I'll be like, oh, the Undertaker. Huh. Yeah, very weird. I don't know. Maybe it's all the interviews. Anyway,
that's so funny.
All right, Alicia, we'll wrap it up there. Very excited for MLW, the restart, and I'm really glad we had a chance to talk about what that really special moment was there at Warrior Wrestling, because I'm standing 10 feet from it, and I felt like I was inside the Rocky moment where he's like up on the shoulder, Adrian, right? And you're fighting with the crowd.
It was so cute.
I was trying to describe it to my girl. I was like, Liz, like, and she's like, oh, she's crying just thinking about it. Anyway. All right. Alicia, where do you want to send people to find you, follow you, support you, all those great things?
Yes. So, like we kind of discussed, of course, check out MLW. We still air 10 p.m. on BN Sports every Saturday night, but we do have that brand new awesome slot, 7 p.m. on Fubo Sports, where you can stream us on Wednesday nights, which is super exciting. And then if you just want to check out my interviews where I speak with amazing wrestlers, bodybuilders, musicians, there's tons of stuff on the horizon. So just head to aliciaatout.com, check those out. There you will find interviews, vlogs, my merch store, everything. Just Google box my name and it'll come up.